Yay!
Good-ish.
Can you no longer watch the Captain Reboot stream if you're not a subscriber?
You can watch the stream, not
Oh,
the
there we go.
videos. Okay.
That was weird. Gotcha. Okay. It just wasn't loading right.
Welcome!
Yay!
Yay!
What up? What up?
Watching the overlay have a heart attack because there's people in it that are talking that aren't in the thing.
Oh, it'll be okay. Yep.
Hi, everyone. So who would like to recap what's happened last?
Not it.
Not it. It would be very bad if I did.
We're okay.
Or very good.
Yeah, I vote he recaps because I want all the random made up stuff to actually happen.
I mean, if voted, I'll do it, but
Chaos and anarchy.
it might be a long night.
Oh, shit. So, I mean, we started out in Rivercross. I mean, everybody remember that. And we crossed the river at Rivercross. That makes sense. And then we stopped at their camp with the Pharaohs. And we met the dwarf general, not a bad fella. And we met the funny elf thing. What sort of elf was that funny elf thing? Was that a drow? Or was that like a Eladrin?
That was, in fact, a drow.
I believe it were a drow, yeah.
Yeah, so there was like elf secrets, but not super secrets. And then we were like, hey, we should go see the dwarf lord, so we can deliver this princess. And they were all like, well, you should go on this road, down through Elvendar and around the forest. We're like, no, we're just gonna go over this way. And they're like, no, don't do that. And we're like, it's okay. We're just gonna steal some horses, and we're gonna try real hard to get a cart. But for some reason,
Steal is a strong word.
there's no carts in this entire realm. Carts are like gold. I don't know why,
I've scarred Zach into never giving us card.
but we couldn't have a
Yes.
cart. We couldn't have a wagon.
God
Nothing.
damn it, Riffin.
So with our horses, we headed westward over towards them mountains, camped out, felt better about ourselves, learned a little, loved a little, mostly learned, realized we couldn't do any fishing. And then we turned south. And as we were heading south, we're like, oh no, look out. There's a giant. And we're like, oh no, there's two giants. And we're like, no, it's just one giant with two heads. And then we fought him, and that was bad. And then we looted him, and that was okay. And then we kept on heading south till we reached the dwarven stronghold. Yeah. And there was like, okay, now we're going to do a makeup montage. And I'm like, no, thank you. I'm fine. And then there's like, no, we're going to make this horse pregnant. And I'm like, I really don't want to be involved in you making a horse pregnant. And then they're like, it'll be fine. You're going to be dressed up as, I am not even sure what they tried to dress me up as. But it seemed to work, or at least the princess got us through. And now we've marched up a long ways into a mountain and are now standing in front of the dwarf lord, bunch of dwarf guards, and I believe the horse just gave birth to a aberrant-looking albino bird person. I guess you could say that horse had a bird. But that's about what I remember.
Sorry, I
Much
didn't mute myself.
face-palming.
I was laughing too hard.
Much face palming was had.
There was a little palm licking, yeah.
Oh boy.
So that's what I remember happening.
Don't mention the mushrooms or anything.
I remember no mushrooms. What mushrooms of which you speak? Was that
I do
really?
specifically remember mushrooms.
Wait, hang on. Was the Mushroom City really all in last session?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we did so much last session.
Did so much traveling.
I thought we started off. Thought we started off across the bridge. No, we started off.
You started
Oh,
off
man.
before Rivercross.
Them mushrooms, they hit hard, but they hit late. The memory just gone.
There it is. Already broken.
Maybe someone else should talk about the mushrooms.
And that's our show, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, we did a lot last session then, didn't we?
Sure did.
We are go-getters.
Commandeered horses, took out Ettin.
Did you
Yeah.
commandeer horses? I don't remember.
We negotiated brusquely for horses.
You negotiated two
We were
horses.
given 2 horses.
I mean,
Just straight up given 2 horses. I think we asked for them.
That counts as commandeering.
To
Does
a
it?
very maniacal
Sure.
home.
I'm commandeering this, but we gave it to you. I'm commandeering it!
It sounds more impressive.
it does. So, yes, prior to the bridge, it's all coming back to Rogue now. We made it through Rivercross itself, which was infested with mushroom growth of the take control of your body and zombify you type.
Hmm.
And it seemed to be emanating primarily from the people's corpses. No, sorry, they weren't even corpses. They were still alive, which was double creepy. Ah, yes, I remember why I blocked it all out now. Thank you for this. Oh, order yesterday. Oh boy.
Did you just say
PSTD?
PSTD.
I wasn't gonna question it.
PSTD. Shh. He's not a smart He's not a smart goblin. That's how
That
the
much is
alphabet works.
certain.
That's how the alphabet works in Goblin. PSTD.
I buy it.
Ah! I would never make fun of a real disease online, so it's PSTD. So there. Ah.
That's fair.
Also a real disease.
But yeah, so the mushrooms also happened. What else did I miss? There was the bubble, the curtain, the
Man.
whoop part. The
Oh
darkness.
yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
The shadow.
the penumbra, the weird like, look, we can see you, we can't see you.
The
And-
barrier of abyssal darkness. Yup, easily
mean-
forgotten.
Okay.
Apparently.
Rogue has sort of a goldfish complex. So I rely on my associates to provide
Casey, I want to be
inputs.
very fair to you because I would have also forgotten a lot of these things had I done the recap, but you did the recap, so we're making fun of you.
All right, everybody, let's point and laugh.
I
Ha ha
oh no. I've been synchronistically ganged up upon. But I believe the ultimate goal at the moment was the delivery of a princess to this location. So, cha-ching!
Job's done.
Zug zug.
All right, everybody can go home.
I see my
Campaign's
golden
over.
question mark. This escort mission sucked. Let's never do this again.
When are they ever good?
Ready for the rest of the game.
Well, I mean, she was at least a useful escort mission. She turned invisible rather than just running around waving her arms like a Muppet.
Oh my god,
Getting
don't you?
kidnapped by
Oh, you're
zombies.
giving me flashbacks to Dragon's Dogma. Ugh. NPCs are like, ooh, is that a Cyclops? And then they go stand under it so they get
It's such a good game, though.
It is such a good game, though. That is my only complaint. The AI is very obviously 2012.
So, in the Court of the Dragon Lords, I know we've got us,
Dwarven lords?
Dwarven Lords, Dwarven Lord, Dwarf Lord, Dimlodar.
Yeah, that's the bitch.
Yes, Dimlodar. We always thought them dwarves was a little
Surprisingly
dim.
well lit.
It is actually. I remember a lot of pretty stuff in there too.
Yes. Every so often, you've been encountering these glass orbs that are filled with like a liquid, and it shines, giving off what is essentially a daylight. As you were walking up the inclines to get to this chamber. The chamber itself is wrapped in these large arches that extend from floor to ceiling every about 10 feet. They look to be either ivory or painted stone. It's hard to tell which. And trailing up them in rings is rings of gold, silver, copper, and bronze. And this black iron that seems to be prevalent within the keep.
So we're all awkwardly standing there. A
And
bird
you're not-
just emerged from a horse.
Well, he emerged outside of the door, and then you went in. And you're not awkwardly standing alone. The king is in his throne.
I kind of feel like we're aware how bad Rogue's costume is. So I feel like once the doors shut, Rogue's gonna be like, please, please, forgive our clever subterfuge. And he takes off like dramatic reveal, but it's pretty obvious what he was anyway. We didn't want to worry your peoples outside, so and he like takes the socks off his ears and the big plastic or the big beak off his face, like, us really are goblins.
And you can hear a lot of the guards that are in this room suddenly shift. And all of them at once turn to face your group. But there's others in here that aren't guards. There's about 5 other people in here that are just kind of standing off to the side of the throne, sort of in a line, idling.
Yes, you can all have my autograph.
But at the moment, you've been told to approach the throne.
Then.
Isoba very specifically does not approach first.
Artoria will approach first with the princess, I suppose.
Isoba will then approach.
Good to know.
Rogue's got his swagger on.
As you walk through this rather brightly lit room, again you see these, not affixed to the walls, but on the ceiling, on the top of every archway, there's another one of those glass balls that are giving off this light. And at first you think, oh, this is very decorative, and then you look around and you realize there are no shadows in this room. There is nowhere for someone to walk in and hide. You are very exposed and very open here. So standing next to the throne is a man in the same armor you've been seeing all the guards wear, the general you met, except his has, instead of the single line from shoulder to hip, 2 lines of bronze carved into the armor. His entire single pauldron is coated in bronze. There's no striping. It's just completely filled. You see a warhammer hanging at his side and a shield on his back. More elderly gentleman. He seems to be around the same age the king is. Very long beard that's braided, and then more bronze hoops are attached every couple of inches to the braid that goes down to about his stomach, ending with a solid metal ball of either gold or more bronze. To his left is a female dwarf. Bright red hair flows down her shoulders, partially down her back and over her chest. Very regal attire. Sure, a very regal silken top and pants. Jewels adorning all of her fingers. And she's just kind of staring almost through you all.
Now Prudence is standing there. She has both hands in the pockets of her pants, and she's just like that, anxious, shifting back and forth from one foot to the other, tails kind of flicking back and forth, like she's not unaware of how important these people are and how unimportant she is. And she actually has to consciously keep her other extra arm still, trying not to be noticed despite being the bubblegum tiefling in the party.
As you continue to move through the chamber, you notice another figure who is not standing. They're kneeling, and they're holding something in their hand, and they seem to be whispering into it. And you look at them, and you have to do a double take, because at first you think they're covered in mud. Their clothing is a dark, earthy brown, and their face has smears of what at first looks like dirt or mud caked across their faces. As you get closer, you see it's paint. 5 stripes of this brown, earthy paint across their face, with a cloak that goes over their head, hiding their hair. As you continue getting closer and you're watching, there's a spark of magic that emulates out of the thing that they're holding and whispering into before they tuck it away into a pouch and stand up. Another elderly looking dwarven woman, very kind. Unlike the others who are staring at you with neutral faces, this one is smiling. There's sort of a radiance to her. It's surprisingly calming given the environment you're currently in. And next to her are two very similar looking gentlemen. They're both leaning against the wall, arms crossed. One is wearing a very ornate breastplate, the other is in full wizardly robes. Both with very short beards, trimmed very neatly, with hair that is cut almost militantly. The only difference between them that you can really notice without going up and inspecting is that one has a scar, deep set scar starting above the right eyebrow, trailing down to the chin, and then it appears like it would continue into the chest. They're both whispering to each other and keep looking over to your group and then going back to whispering. Artoria, as you're walking forward, you watch as the princess reaches a certain distance and stops and kneels.
I follow suit.
Isoba does the same.
Prue kind of eyes everyone else and slowly follows as well.
Rogue sort of adopts a military at-rest style.
The bird in your party is uncomfortable being in so much light and so much attention. You watch as you're kneeling, the king reaches forward and lifts a hand, and the princess at once stands up. There's a long, deep breath that fills the king before he opens his mouth. And he says, "So, you are from the north, too." And he looks out at all of you, as if he's studying you from his throne.
Does he look like he's gonna continue?
He's just staring at you.
Sharp.
Someone say something.
Artoria will respectfully rise to her feet alongside the princess and yes, we come from... Oh god, what's the name of the city?
Hang
I'm
on,
so sorry.
Archer, you guys can relax. Let me explain what happened. And then he starts to launch into the same story that we just had for the recap.
Okay, now I'm fine with this.
He can, of course, be stopped, but he's going to try and get through the whole way.
Including forgetting the mushrooms.
Yeah, the mushrooms. You see, Your Majesty, there was these mushrooms, and they were like popping out of people's eyes and out their mouths, and this one guy had like this big mushroom head, and he kept running around like, "The princess is in another castle. She's right here."
God damn it.
So, eventually, Rogue grabs me, and that's how it was up north.
Yes, truly an excellent summary of our adventure.
And thank you, Twitch, for suggesting to bring that IC.
And thank you, Twitch, because now I have to respond to that icily. You watch as the entire time you're speaking, the king has leaned over to the side and is speaking with the very adorned soldier that's standing next to him. And as they lean over you, actually, everyone roll a perception check.
Perception.
Ooh. What a start to the session, eh, Ben?
Shut up.
You and Nepo.
Prudence, you notice that there is a rather strong similarity to faces between the adorned soldier and the king. Possibly siblings. But as you finish your explanation, the two go back and look upon you. And then their eyes shift to Artoria and the princess. You are from Minas Steel, are you not?
Yes, Your Majesty.
The princess nods. Yes, was my home. What has happened there? Speak frankly.
Well, as of insert however long ago it was that it got attacked.
It's been a month now.
About a month ago. I was in the city of Mistel with the princess when it was attacked by an army from the abyss of size no one could have possibly imagined. They stormed through the city in a matter of hours. As far as I know, Princess and I are of a very select few survivors.
From the side, as you mentioned, the abyss, you can hear the elderly woman, the one on the brown cloak and robes. The breath escapes. And you see her arms draw towards her chest. She starts to whisper, "Oh, Martin, save us all."
Yes, the last of the city that I saw was just getting completely overrun. Much of it was burning.
He turns to the princess and the king, looking down at her. The unspoken daughter of you, sole survivor of the burning world.
Zach, speak up.
Come, child, approach. You watch the princess stand up and walk forward. And this king reaches out a hand. Princess places hers in his and claps top of his hand on hers. You watch as he slowly starts to stand up, and for as old and tired as this dwarf looks while sitting in his throne, as he stands up, you watch his body almost swell in proportion to this. Old king suddenly standing, taller than most and wider than all of you. You are safe now, child. As are the rest of you. And he releases the hand, and she pulls it away. And you could watch her reach up and touch that symbol on her cheek before taking a step back and bowing her head.
Well, thank you, Your Majesty. It's, right nice of you. But, you see, I got a whole clan counting on me up north, and I might be safe, but I ain't thinking they're safe. So,
As
maybe
you
there's
mentioned
something we can do.
As you mentioned North, one of the two brothers standing on the side starts to move forward. Lord, anything north is out of our sight. We've tried since that damned barrier went up. No sight, man or magic can pierce it.
Well, that's not entirely true. You might remember when I was speaking about that barrier that I originally forgot about.
Keep your mouth quiet, Greenskin.
Well, see, that's not going to happen. I respect you, and I'll listen to you talk, but you're going to do the same. I'm a general. Expect you like the same. My king relies on me. I expect yours relies on you.
You can hear metal boots shifting behind you.
Anyway, as I was saying, this fella here pierced that barrier like it was nothing.
And he points over at, I believe it was Isoba who did the head in out thing.
Yes.
Mhm.
He speaks the truth.
Do you have any idea what's going on here? Any idea how lucky you are to be alive? And you watch as the other brother places his hand on the shoulder of the one speaking and pulls him back. Enough. No need to rile the guests. And they both pull back. And from the other side, on the opposite of them, you hear another voice ring out. Forgive the Grinstone brothers. They spend most of their time locked up with their books. Their social graces abandon them. You watch as the red-headed dwarf woman glares daggers to the other side of the room.
Well, given that, had it not been for all this, we'd likely be at the proper war ourselves between us. But, Shay, war makes odd bedfellows. I mean, take a look at these two. And he gestures towards Prudence and Snap. So, I can...
Such a glare. Such.
I can think of few other reasons I would be standing in the hall of King myself. Conqueror, prisoner, but ally, hadn't considered it. But my fellows here, and he points to Isoba again, may have some insight which is useful to you. Isoba?
I unfortunately have very little to say. I did not think it was a significant event for me to poke my head back through the barrier, but I surely did. I would prefer if we are to stay here for the foreseeable future, if we could find our places to sleep, to generally be comfortable. You understand, yes? We have had a long journey.
The armored soldier finally speaks up. We will find you accommodations. We understand what you have done has been trying. What Brothers Grimstone say is true to an extent. We cannot pierce the veil magically, and the scouts that we have sent northward have not returned. Consider yourselves very fortunate to have made it this far. My lord, if I may. The king looks up at him and nods, or actually looks down at him from this perspective now, and nods, and the armored soldier claps his hands. The echo of it ringing out into the room, and you hear the door from behind you open again. Two others in fine robes, although more of a nature of servitude, come in carrying a small chest between the two of them. And they walk around you all and then place it down in front of you, so the chest is between you and the throne. This will be a small payment for services rendered in bringing the daughter of Minister to us. And the two servants part and leave the chamber.
God damn it, Casey.
She's like 13.
Can't say that, Casey. Your mic is muted.
I typed it.
Can't type that, Casey.
So
That's an even more permanent record.
what's in the chest?
I don't know who goes
Better
to.
not be a 13-year-old.
Okay. Bring it back down, please. I'm not looking to get put on a fucking list.
Too late.
Too late.
I'm already on the
It's definitely too late.
So Rogue will walk over and like, Russian chest. Open it up.
There is quite a bit of coin.
I just got hit by a huge wave of nodules. And I'll be back.
That's very charitable.
Your generosity will not be forgotten.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Carmen's a little tricky.
We do not keep debts. You offered a service. This is payment. This is the way of things.
Well, I personally could use considerably more of this
Oh.
non-debt system. Perhaps there's something else we could do for you.
He watches all the heads within the room turn to look at one another. Before the king finally speaks up. And you notice every time he speaks, he inhales very deeply before he speaks. It's almost as if he's pacing his words. This court takes care of its own. However, there is always more to be done in the time when soldiers leave home. I'm sure you can find work that suits your talents. He slowly brings himself back down into the chair, and that older visage starts to take in once more. It's such a strange transition.
Well, I think my talking is done. Why don't you all settle up on the formalities? And he points to Artoria, who seems to have some idea of how to properly handle things.
I think Artoria AFK'd.
No! My out!
Isoba is just going to pick up the chest of gold.
And when you finish counting it,
And it's all mine forever.
when you finish counting it, you'll find that it is 2,000 gold and platinum.
2,000
We
gold
will
and 2,000
figure out how to
platinums.
split that later.
And it's heavy.
Isoba has a strength of 15. He is okay.
You're fine.
Don't at me.
I think Prudence might sort of try to read the room a bit and see, because I mean, there's a tiefling and a goblin and a weird bird thing, and just trying to see like how people are reacting,
Make an insight check.
like in general. Where are you, insight? She's not very good at this, but nope.
Hard to read. A lot of them are very stoic.
Not used to dwarves.
Rogue comes up and he reaches up his like tippy toe. You're gonna get looks like they dwarfs. Just try and forgive them. They're slow.
Shh.
While we are waiting for our accommodations, where can we go?
Actually, this is a fair.
Yeah, I could use some work on my piece here. It's just
Where can we
spins
have
a
our
little
next
bit.
scene, please?
The redheaded woman speaks up and says, "There is a tavern known as, oh God notes, the Second Round Tavern and Inn would be your best bet. Speak to Vroska. She will take care of you." Voska.
Thank you. Come along, Paladin. We've got some walking to do. And he's ready to head out.
The tavern is in the third ring down. Please be careful on the elevators.
Yeah, third ring, second round. That's not at all confusion.
You hear a chuckle from the two brothers.
Well, why don't we go take a walk then?
And you all bow and respectfully take a few steps backwards before turning and leaving the chamber. And the princess stays there. She's going to stay with these people. And you are brought out and down the inclines. And as you're walking, you start to notice there's gates to the sides of the walls here. And they're let out into large manors. And as you pass by, the first one says Grinstone as you're walking down. And underneath their name it says the Runic Pensophical. Further down, you pass another one. It says Shatterclaw. Beyond that one is not a name per se, but it says Stone Speaker. And each one of these are a gate that's built as a black iron gate that's adjacent to the wall. It's basically, they cut out the wall and put this gate in, and beyond it you can see a house. And you finally get out, and you're let out of the large main gate, and you're back on this street. And as you turn your heads to either side, you notice that the street is a single street, and it curves at a certain point. And you are left on the street corner. What are you going to do?
Try to find the tavern.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Is anyone gonna help?
I will help. I remember that it's 3rd floor, 2nd round. Careful on the elevators.
So we find the elevators then.
Yes, I believe the step 1 was elevators. Yes,
So
step-
as you
step
walk,
was-
and I can finally use my big boy voice because the room is not filled. As you walk, you realize that it's not a full ring, it's not a full circle, but it's almost shaped like a horseshoe. Where it's half a ring, and at the end of the ring are these large carved in tunnels that go straight down. And you can see chains in them moving and shifting. And Prudence, this makes you really excited. Because you watch as these large platforms start to raise and level off with the street. And a large bar swings open. And people come walking off and people start stepping on.
Yeah, that's not safe.
You've
I'm
never
sure
seen
it's
You- Are
fine.
you talking about safe construction, Rogue?
Yeah, well, look
Are
at
you the one?
there's like one
Legit,
chain.
out of character, are you the one that's talking about this right now?
There's like one chain. You need
There's
like
like
50 or
5
60
chains.
ropes. There's like, look at that. No, there's one chain on that sprocket. You need a good 5 or 6 chains linked together in various
Rogue.
sizes.
Rogue, your gun is 75% rust.
The
I don't
rust,
know if this is in character or not.
the rust gives you character. That's exactly what
This is half in character and half out of character. I'm so furious I can't keep up the accent.
this looks barely used. You can't tell if it's been worn in properly. Look at that. That's gleaming. That's
Prudence is probably going to like give all the reasons why he's wrong and like point out what she can see and how it's moving, and we're fine. Come on, let's ride this thing.
And
It
as you're
doesn't-
pointing out, Prudence, you can see where the chains are attached to where the pulleys are. You can see impressed into the metal are these large gray glowing crystals. And they're in each one of the pulleys that are holding this machine up to the chains. And as they start to glow, and as you step on, they start to glow, the whole thing starts to move. And you are giddy.
Ooh.
where
This isn't your first encounter with Magitech. This isn't your first time seeing large constructions that use both science and magic to make things happen. But this is so cool for you. They're slow. They're very slow. It's a very slow process making your way down. And as you go down, you can see that this place is cut into rings. Every time you go down, you stop and you're now at another ring.
Kind of like bounces excitedly as everything's moving. Is there a way to, like, like an elevator door where it's like you're on floor 3? Like, can we?
Yes, there are large runic carvings on essentially the openings for where you're let out, and you can see. Well, who speaks Dwarven?
Not me.
I do.
You can see the Dwarven symbols for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as you're traveling down. You can also
we don't see the numbers for 4 and 5 because we get the fuck
Hopefully
off.
you
at
don't.
3.
But on the first floor, you see you see carved next to the number 1,
I'm back.
military, and the words for military and the word for nobility. And as you go to floor 2, you see merchant carved next to it.
And the 3rd floor is housewares.
And the 3rd floor is beyond. You found it.
Oh my god, it's beautiful.
haberdashery.
But it's just
There's
a
the
ring of
entire
hats.
3rd floor is hats.
No, the third floor actually says civil, and you step off, and you notice this district at this time of day, because it is now edging towards. You're starting to get where it would be sunset. It's busy, very busy. Right away, you get the smell of alcohol. Just, it's there. You found it.
Ah, fellow plebes.
And interestingly, as you're walking, you notice the same glass orbs are down here as well, but they're not giving off a bright daylight. It's darker and starting to turn a reddish orange, as if it was turning into sunset.
Oh, that's dope.
You have a feeling that these are not for dwarves as much as these are for folks that don't live underground, so that they have a semblance of what time it is.
How considerate.
But as you walk through this district, you see breweries, you see food stands and bakeries, and all these smells, these small eateries, just meats and vegetables hitting your nose, and ales and meads all wafting through this area.
Guys, we need to go somewhere and we need to get real food.
Where did
I
you
am in
say?
support of this.
That would be amazing.
And as you're coming around and you're thinking you're making about the middle of the ring, you're finally making that last turn that started to curve the other way, you see a very large, carved in, and every structure here is carved into stone. Every building is just chiseled into the rock. You see a large carved in building, and in stone that has gold embedded into the wall. It says Second Round Tavern and Inn. And it is loud. There are lots of people. There is some raucous music playing to the laughter and cheers and clinking of tankards as you walk inside. There are dwarven men and women on tables singing and shaking their tankards, and ales splashing across other patrons who are just It's a proper dwarven party, and as soon as you all walk in, everyone turns and looks at you.
Ooh.
As you are a bunch of non-dwarves in Dwarf Town.
Through waves with a robot arm.
So what did we get from that chest when I had to be sick?
Prue, as you wave with your robot arm, there's like a little bit of silence. And then from the back you hear, "The pink one's got a third arm!" Ah! And everyone, and they go drinking.
She'll like hold out all three arms just to prove it, do a little dance, and then wander off to try to find something to drink and eat. Come on. Hungry.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yes, food.
Oh, Isoba's right there with you.
So you all make your way to, there's a large bar, and it is basically L-shaped. It starts at the left side wall and works all the way around the back wall. And then there is a sort of almost cubicle-looking box set up right near where the door is, and there is a woman standing behind it, dwarven woman standing behind it, flipping through a book, a large ledger, and she looks up at you. Hey, you're You're all colourful. Well, welcome to the second round. What can I get for you tonight?
A first round of drinks, please.
Yes.
First round coming up.
Something strong, please.
Find a seat somewhere.
The edgy
Right.
corner. The edgy corner table.
Oi! Hey! Viola! Kick the fucking sleepers out. Make room for our new guests. And you watch come running around, who's currently serving drinks, is this small gnomish woman. She's got her hair tied in a ponytail, but the ponytail isn't coming off the back of her head, it's coming off the side, and it's kind of going down the side of her head and over her shoulder, and she's running around trying to serve drinks. And you watch this little gnomish woman run up, kick someone's chair as hard as they can. They fall out of it, tumble out of it, still drunk, and the other ones see this and go, and get up and pick their friend up and start dragging him out of the bar.
Cool.
Is this early for dwarves or late for dwarves?
It
Is
never
there an
really
early
stops.
or late for dwarves?
It doesn't really stop. It's early for the night crew. It's late for the morning.
Nice to meet you, ma'am. That was good work you just did.
Hey, thank you, says the gnomish woman up to you. Because I play World of Warcraft and are racist towards gnomes, they all sound like that.
I was about to make a questionable comment, and I'm going to hold to myself.
Yes, you are. Or you're gonna roll initiative, motherfucker.
Sure.
You all take a seat, and drinks are brought to you. Strong, hearty, puts hair on your chest, especially for the women, dwarven ale. And you finally, after 2 weeks of weirdness, get to sit down and rest.
A
Yep.
magical thing, that is.
Yep, nothing more relaxing than being in a tavern full of my racial enemies.
All right, well.
Just please do not start a race war. I am not looking for entertainment with my dinner.
Well, that's been on for a few centuries now, but
We got your back. Just relax. Drink
Yeah,
their
you-
beer.
You have
eat
got
their
his back.
food.
it's fine. It's fine.
I'd love to say.
Actually, Rogue, just a point of reference. The goblins don't tend to travel down this far south towards Dimlador.